Mm-hmm. I was watching a weird one today. I was watching a crazy one today called it was called um Seaspiracy.
Hmm.
It was just it was about like how it was about how like the fishing industry is like the main issue behind all of like the wildlife extinction in like the ocean world, and like how the fishing industry is what's really responsible for killing all of ocean life and like the oceanic ecosystem.
I've heard of this. I
and
think
like and like the reason why it's not talked about, like they're always talking about the plastic, but the plastic is like 0.003% of the amount of plastic that like goes into the ocean, and like the majority of it is like fishing lines, and there's all this
yeah.
stuff, and like all these animal and like all of the fish are slaughtered for like no reason. Like the Japanese whaling industry and like the
Oh yeah.
dolphin like killing industry is like a cover up for like bluefin tunas or something like that.
Oh really? That's
Yeah, like
interesting.
they just do it just to do like the shark fins, they just do it for like the soup because it's like a
Yeah.
social status thing, but like the other element, but like the real reason why they do like the whaling and like the dolphin stuff is just as a distraction from like the blue tuna that they have, because like
Wow.
the blue tunas go for like they fetch like millions of dollars for a tuna, so like they just kill these, so like they just grab the tunas and they just kill off these whales and everything, so they have like a distraction.
There was
Like it's a crazy documentary.
Joe Rogan had this dude on that was like an ocean like a marine biologist or something, and was talking a little bit about like the conservation of the ocean and how things like are really bad right now with like commercial fisheries are running out of fish, which is like crazy. Um,
Yeah,
so
well, because
there's
the eco,
basically a push
because
now to like make it so that basically seafood is not as widely available as it is now. Like if you live by the ocean, then sure you could have fish, but like if you live in Colorado, you shouldn't have access to seafood because you're in a landlocked state, you know. So and that's the problem is that that's why there's so much overfishing happening is because they have to ship like fish to like all these like places that normally wouldn't even have fish. You
well,
know, there's such a
right,
high demand for seafood.
right, but I mean, but this documentary goes into like how the reason that is not being talked about is like all of these like so-called wildlife companies and like all these like big, we need to sustain like all these big sustainability pushes and everything like that. It's all
Mm-hmm.
like a sham, and they're all just funding the fishing industry.
Wow.
So like it goes all the way up. Like there's a point where like um they find out that like Mitsubishi is like one of the top like whalers.
Really?
Yeah. And then like there's a whole sustainability thing about how like they can't do whale, like there isn't going to be any whaling, but then there's this like small area of Denmark where like where like once a year or something like that they do like a big like whaling purge because
Yeah.
they're allowed to hunt porpoise whales,
Yeah.
and
Well,
like the
they
person
did that in
goes to
Iceland too.
yeah, and like the person goes to one of these, like the documentarian, and
Hmm.
he like witnesses one of these things. They like cut out like certain points, but like they leave in a lot of like the slaughter, and it's horrible.
Oh yeah.
Like it's very graphic, but it's very eye opening as to like what is potentially really going on.
Yeah.
But I love stuff like that. We have been going on for quite a while. Our next episode is what do we got on the list? Do we have
I'm pretty
Machete
sure. I no.
or
I
M
think
Dickey?
we were gonna do the uh, M Dickey video games.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the Matt Dickey's video games. For those that don't know, it's he makes really cheesy like he's a guy. He makes his own video games just himself. Does all the art, all the programming, everything. And they all use the same engine that he designed, and they all have the same characters, and they're basically all like wrestling games, except like not wrestling games. Like one of them called Hard Time takes place in a prison, but it has still wrestling moves. There's another one called the New Testament where you know uh, you play as Jesus and you can wrestle people in the Bible times. It's an interesting series of games that he
Yes.
made.
And you keep it hardcore.
Yeah, keep it. So
right.
that'll be next on the list.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Tom, for joining us.
Yes, thanks a lot, man.
Guys.
All righty. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to our show, helping us out with the Patreon. If you are one of those kind souls, commenting on our YouTube channel, and liking and subscribing at youtube.com, and you find us again, Why Does This Exist? And if you want to send us an email with some show topics to cover, please do so by either commenting in the YouTube channel or emailing us at whydoesthisexistshow@gmail.com. And if you want to show some of your buddies our content, that would be really helpful and really awesome, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, TuneIn, Alexa, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, and Stitcher. Thank you very much, everybody. I have been Chris.
And I've been Rob.
I'm Tom.
And remember, question everything.
See ya.